You must finally confront the profound and inescapable truth that, at this very moment, your spiritual mentor, your personal guide assigned by a higher providence, is attempting to speak with you, to transmit essential guidance that could drastically alter your trajectory. Yet you, like a vast majority of people navigating the material world, are inadvertently and unknowingly blocking or dismissing the message. Forget every fragmented or simplistic notion you have ever heard about the existence of life beyond the physical body and the mechanics of communication between the distinct worlds of the living and the disembodied. What is about to be systematically unveiled here, based on the methodical, rational, and extensive documentation of Allan Kardec and supported by the testimonies of the world's greatest mediums, is a reality so structured and immense that it will fundamentally shatter and then reconstruct your current perspective. Allan Kardec, the meticulous codifier of Spiritism, did not merely believe in this communication. He rigorously documented its facts and laws over a century and a half ago with surgical precision in his foundational works, establishing a robust philosophical framework. The most renowned mediums in history, such as those responsible for channeling over 400 books that defy traditional logical explanation, have proven this reality through undeniable, consistent evidence. Furthermore, figures like Edgar Cayce, the sleeping prophet, corroborated this vast system in thousands of readings that have impacted generations with their stunning accuracy and spiritual depth. Now take a moment for profound self-reflection. Have you ever been enveloped by that sudden, inexplicable feeling of a palpable presence that causes an intense shiver to run down your spine? Or experienced a dream about a loved one who has passed that felt so vividly real and consequential, it seemed like a true physical encounter? The knowledge you are about to receive offers the brutal, honest, and ultimately comforting explanation for these universal, intense, and often dismissed experiences. Over the course of the next sections, we will delve into the primary, undeniable signals these spiritual masters utilize to subtly invade our consciousness, exploring documented cases of life-altering messages and the precise, infallible method developed by Kardec himself for you to unequivocally discern and receive the spiritual plane's constant communication. The foundation of this reality rests upon a startling, meticulously documented fact, recorded in the very bedrock of spiritual philosophy, the Spirit's Book, specifically in the much-debated Question 459. Every human being, without a single exception, is assigned at least one designated spirit protector from the moment of their birth, a guardian who remains with them throughout their entire incarnate existence. Pause to fully grasp the colossal implications of this fact. A being of superior light and profound wisdom, nothing less than a spiritual general dedicated entirely to the principle of evolution, walks beside you, witnessing and supporting every single step and stumble of your existence. The mission assigned to this guide is crystal clear, urgent and ceaseless: to shield and safeguard your spiritual evolution and to intercede on your behalf, protecting you from dangers, both moral and physical, that your own limited earthly perception cannot even begin to detect or comprehend. However, the most challenging and painful secret, the one that almost no one dares to openly acknowledge, is this: the vast, immense majority of the human collective navigates their entire lifespan without ever genuinely perceiving, recognizing, or acknowledging this divine, constant, and loving companionship. They are, in a profound sense, spiritually blind to the meticulously placed signals and undeniable interventions. This persistent obliviousness is a devastating equivalent to owning a phone that rings non-stop, carrying the precise and liberating answer to all your most pressing problems on the line, but you consistently allow the call to go to voicemail simply because the caller ID displays a number you stubbornly refuse to recognize or trust. The legendary mediums, those figures who definitively silenced the most strident skeptics for decades, spent over half a century tirelessly channeling direct, detailed, and universally applicable messages from these spiritual mentors to the world. Their extensive written works, often the result of conscious channeling, offer terrifyingly intimate descriptions of how these guides, observing from an elevated perspective, scrutinize every microsecond of your life, diligently dispatching arrows of timely inspiration, urgent alerts of danger, and a deep, sustaining spiritual consolation that acts as a life raft to pull you back from the very edge of the emotional or moral abyss. This intervention is constant, but its effectiveness is entirely dependent on your degree of conscious reception. As we delve into the core communication tactics, prepare yourself for this initial method. The first of three is the most elusive, the most subtle, and yet the most dangerous one to habitually dismiss or overlook: the sudden, seemingly random emergence of powerful, unexpected thoughts and intuitions. Reflect on a critical juncture in your life where you were on the precipice of a monumental decision, one that in retrospect you know would have been catastrophic or life-destroying. Then, without any conscious or logical reasoning, a completely contrary, compelling idea or urge forcefully surfaced in your mind. A clear internal command that compelled you to pause, check yourself, and apply the spiritual brakes. Edgar Cayce, with his extraordinary psychic precision, meticulously explained that our spiritual mentors operate with brutal, elegant efficiency directly through the conduit of intuition. They function by deliberately implanting thoughts, which act like concentrated bombs of light, or precise mental suggestions directly into your mind, particularly during moments when your consciousness is in a state of relaxed receptivity and non-judgment. Allan Kardec, in the meticulous chapter 19 of the Medium's book, left absolutely no room for misinterpretation. The superior spirits fundamentally prefer to act upon your innermost thoughts in a subtle, almost clandestine manner, and the reason for this strategic gentleness is deeply rooted in respect. They utterly refuse to violate the sacred principle of your free will. They possess the infinite understanding that a direct, unavoidable, and complete imposition of their will, a supernatural command, holds no true or lasting value for your essential spiritual growth and mandatory development. Such an act would not make your soul stronger, more discerning, or more resilient. It would merely turn you into a powerless puppet, incapable of moral self-determination. They guide, they suggest, but the ultimate arduous act of choosing and implementing the good is always reserved for you, the incarnate spirit, making the resulting growth authentically yours. You must fully internalize the next piece of knowledge, because what we are about to reveal concerning the mechanism of your dreams will fundamentally rewrite and transform your understanding of every single night's rest. The second, and arguably the most common and profoundly liberating form of spiritual communication, manifests precisely when you consciously switch off your material mind, that is, during the restorative period of your nightly sleep. This specific nocturnal phase is the vital window when your spirit, your eternal identity, is finally able to partially disengage from the immense weight and restrictive density of the physical body. It is your soul being granted a temporary, unfettered pass to move and communicate without the severe limiting constraints imposed by physical matter. Leading spiritualists and mediums often explain that while the body rests, your perispirit, the ethereal, semi-material body that serves as the bridge between your pure spirit and your gross physical form, gains complete and total freedom to receive a full, uninhibited download of essential guidance, profound consolation, and critical orientation directly from the spiritual world. This process is the precise logical reason why you occasionally experience those incredibly vivid dreams, visions that possess a powerful, undeniable reality that feels more authentic than your waking life itself. These dreams often feature detailed, meaningful interactions with departed family members or guides, bringing messages that are not fanciful imaginings, but genuine balms of peace, clarity, and life-changing direction, all channeled without the interference of your skeptical waking intellect. Prepare for a profound emotional impact as we now delve deep into a documented, verifiable case study that serves as the final, irrefutable proof of this nocturnal communication's reality and power. The incident took place in the late 1970s when a desperately grief-stricken mother approached a famous medium, consumed by the devastating, crippling pain of having lost her young son in a sudden, tragic accident. For months on end, the woman was tormented by a persistent sequence of dreams where the image of her son insisted over and over that he was perfectly well, thriving in his new existence. Plagued by psychological exhaustion, she dismissed these profound visions as nothing more than mere fantasy, the predictable, painful product of her overwhelming grief. But what then transpired defied all conventional laws of the material universe. During a mediumistic session of such intensity that it riveted the entire nation, the young man's spirit forcefully broke through, communicating clearly and consciously through the medium's channel. He did far more than simply speak words of comfort. He delivered overwhelming, indisputable proof. He revealed with meticulous, stunning detail information that only he and absolutely no one else could possibly have known. The exact hidden location where he had secreted a deeply private love letter, intended for his girlfriend before his death, the unique serial number of a watch he had secretly purchased for her, and a coded private message that was vital for his best friend to receive. The family, paralyzed by skepticism and hope, verified every single revealed detail. To their astonishment, every piece of information was found to be perfectly, devastatingly accurate. Yet the most profound truth he conveyed was this. He revealed that he had been visiting his mother consistently in her dreams for months, relentlessly attempting to console her, to gently prepare her spirit for this final, direct contact. What she, in her grief, had casually labeled as a mere figment of her imagination was in truth the unstoppable, magnificent force of pure, eternal love, a spiritual power that simply cannot be contained or nullified by the temporary barrier of physical death. The love remained the driving, active force. At this point, a reasonable person might be filled with frustration, angrily questioning the necessity of all this spiritual subtlety. If the guidance and communication are so critical to our safety and evolution, why do our guides not simply speak to us in a loud, undeniable, universally clear voice, abandoning this complex, elusive approach? Allan Kardec, the master interrogator of the spiritual world, posed this very pointed question to the superior spirits, and their collective, brutal answer, documented in question 282 of the Spirit's book, is profoundly revealing. They stated, "If we assisted you constantly in an ostensive manner, you would never develop your own forces. The warning is clear and absolute. If the assistance were constantly, undeniably obvious and freely available, your fundamental freedom, your liberum arbitrium, would be instantly nullified. You would effectively cease to be a moral agent, acting instead as a compliant puppet." This absolute law teaches us that your spiritual mentors are, by necessity, strategists of infinite wisdom, operating within the boundaries of a higher divine law. They do, of course, help you in countless ways, but they do so without ever, under any circumstances, sabotaging your personal self-directed process of learning, necessary struggle, and consequent growth. Their method is akin to a loving parent, teaching a child the arduous task of walking. The parent remains present, ready to intervene to prevent a fatal fall or catastrophic injury, but they consciously and strategically permit the necessary minor stumbles, the inevitable scrapes, and the small frustrations. These controlled mishaps are essential for you to develop and fully internalize your own strength, your own balance, and your own hard-won resilience. Edgar Cayce's extensive readings corroborated this exact spiritual law, affirming that every soul is attended by a specific army of highly individualized mentors, uniquely assigned based on that soul's specific level of evolution and its accumulated karmic debts and necessary lessons. They hold the complete, vast map of your life's blueprint and know with absolute clarity the precise lessons and obstacles you must overcome to fulfill your unique spiritual destiny. We now turn to the third and final signal, a phenomenon so interwoven with the fabric of daily life that it will force you to deeply re-evaluate every single event you have ever dismissed as a mere coincidence. Your spiritual mentor is, in essence, a celestial conductor, a maestro who skillfully and precisely orchestrates synchronicity, those specific, meaningful, and often profoundly resonant events that appear to be purely accidental or random, yet they manifest at the exact crucial moment to either save your life, offer you profound protection, or deliver the exact lesson or opportunity you had been internally or externally pleading for. Have you ever noticed the uncanny timing with which the precise, necessary book containing the needed insight suddenly falls into your lap at the very moment you were struggling with a problem? Or perhaps you unexpectedly encounter the perfect person, a total stranger, who spontaneously offers the exact career opportunity or vital piece of advice you had been desperately searching for, appearing precisely when your hope had run completely dry. Even more dramatically, consider how highly desired plans or commitments are inexplicably cancelled at the absolute last minute, only for you to later discover that had you followed through, the outcome would have led to financial or moral ruin. These are not merely accidents of fate. According to Kardec's teachings, these are direct, meticulously planned interventions, the work of elevated beings who love you with an unconditional force that infinitely transcends all human emotional understanding. The great mediums received constant, in-depth instruction detailing how a complex spiritual coordination network operates continuously to create these perfect alignments and meaningful situations. It is an invisible, dedicated task force working tirelessly and strategically in the spiritual dimensions to forge the conditions for your inevitable growth and to ensure your overall protection, acting as the ultimate safety net woven into the tapestry of your free will choices. Here lies the most powerful knowledge, the principle that holds the potential to permanently transform the reality of your experience. The critical moment you cease to willfully ignore these powerful, persistent spiritual signs, the moment you begin to actively, consciously recognize them, and most importantly, begin to express sincere, heartfelt gratitude for the constant, loving presence of your mentors, the nature of their communication with you undergoes a phenomenal change. It instantaneously becomes more frequent, strikingly clearer, and profoundly more potent and direct. Kardec's teachings unequivocally establish that sincere faith and a deeply rooted gratitude are the most powerful spiritual antennae in the entire universe, capable of brutally amplifying your capacity to receive precise, coherent spiritual guidance and orientation. As noted by great mediums, the conscious and genuine recognition of these mentors instantly liberates you from the heavy, suffocating sensation of personal abandonment. You immediately shed the limiting feeling of being alone and instead internalize the profound, comforting understanding that you are an integral, loved part of an eternal, immense lineage that actively supports and sustains your being at all times. Furthermore, the wisdom of the spiritual texts documents that these beings are not merely your guides for this one present incarnation. They have been your spiritual family across countless past lives and successive reincarnations. They are intimately aware of your deepest traumas, your specific perennial weaknesses, and the vast store of karmic strengths accumulated over millennia. It is this depth of shared history and knowledge that renders their guidance so uncannily precise, accurate, and uniquely tailored to your soul's specific needs and lessons. While the general public connects at the lowest step, through rapid inspirations, subtle intuitions, and vague presentiments, those who have committed to conscious mediumistic development experience a communication that is direct, detailed, and undeniable, becoming conscious channels for the phone of heaven on earth, dedicated entirely to a purpose that is universally educational and deeply consoling. To fundamentally reverse any current negative situation and successfully reconnect with your departed loved ones and your spirit guides, you must adhere to a crucial three-part spiritual strategy. According to the foundational spiritual teachings, you can establish powerful communication through the use of an ancient, potent spiritual weapon, the sincere prayer, the deliberate cultivation of loving, positive thoughts, and, most critically, by committing to maintaining a consistently superior moral conduct in all aspects of your daily life. This latter point is the supreme, non-negotiable key to genuine, high-level spiritual contact. Consider the fundamental law of spiritual attraction. Lower morally compromised spirits are instantaneously drawn to the low vibrational filth of human emotion, the venom of hatred, the destructive lust for vengeance, chronic vices, and pure, concentrated negativity. Conversely, the elevated spirits, your personal mentor and your truly loved departed family members, are attracted only to the frequencies of superior, luminous vibrations, genuine, active love, sincere gratitude, unconditional forgiveness, and the practice of selfless charity. As emphasized in the teachings of major spiritual figures, when you consciously and persistently elevate your thoughts, feelings, and actions, you are not just being nice. You are fundamentally changing your spiritual channel, actively tuning your consciousness to a higher, clearer frequency, that permits the harmonious, beneficial approximation of luminous, helpful beings. This process is absolutely akin to operating a powerful radio. You must deliberately change your internal frequency to capture the clearest, most harmonious, and most spiritually beneficial station available in the universe's broadcast. Before we unveil the specific technique for conscious tuning, it is imperative to fully absorb a documented case that stands as a living testament to the sheer power of spiritual orchestration. In 1938, in a Brazilian city, a family was engulfed in a perfect storm of material calamity. The father was utterly unable to secure employment, crippling debts were suffocating the household, and worst of all, one of their children was in a dire, critical state of illness. The mother, a woman who possessed an absolute, unwavering faith, began a week-long period of fervent, relentless supplication and daily prayer, actively demanding clear guidance from her mentor. For 7 straight days, she received the exact same insistent, repetitive dream. A luminous, clear figure pointed her toward a specific, unremarkable house in a neighborhood she barely knew and commanded her to go there on a precise, non-negotiable day and time. Although the instructions seemed utterly illogical, she followed the command with absolute faith. Upon arriving at the exact location, she encountered an elderly woman who had moments before placed a simple "for rent" sign, specifically seeking a quiet, responsible family to meticulously care for her property and animals while she embarked on a long journey. The elderly woman's need perfectly and miraculously matched the desperate family's exact skills and available labor. But the spiritual intervention was not yet complete. The elderly woman happened to be a retired pharmacist who, upon hearing about the critically ill child, not only immediately provided the necessary costly medicine completely free of charge, but also leveraged her professional contacts to connect the family with a highly specialized doctor who graciously accepted the child as a patient, treating the boy without charging a single cent. This family witnessed, with their own eyes and in the most direct way possible, how their mentors can orchestrate a divine emergency exit from situations that appear to be mathematically and humanly impossible. The secret to unlocking this kind of absolute aid is singular. It functions only when your faith is unshakable, your gratitude is a constant, flowing state of being, and your core intentions are absolutely pure and selfless. Kardec consistently revealed that your mentors are not spiritual ATMs. They possess the profound wisdom to discern your true, essential needs for growth, distinguishing them from your fleeting, material caprices. They see the entire complex game of your existence and know precisely which life experiences, even the most painful, are utterly necessary for your spiritual advancement, even if your limited human perspective cannot grasp the purpose now. The greatest challenge in receiving spiritual aid lies in accepting the principle that divine wisdom infinitely surpasses human desire. Allan Kardec and his spirit collaborators made it clear. Your prayers often seem to vanish into an empty void, not because your guides fail to hear you, but because their perspective and wisdom are so immeasurably superior to your own. They possess the necessary discernment to distinguish between what you passionately want in the moment and what your soul truly needs for its eternal progression. Edgar Cayce's work consistently taught that your temporary material desires are transient and will dissolve, but your deepest spiritual needs are eternal, forming the very foundation of your being. Therefore, your guides will always, without exception, prioritize the essential growth and evolution of your soul above any immediate, temporary comfort or material gratification. This profound principle is not an invitation to passively conform to suffering, but rather a powerful, emphatic call to total, unwavering trust in the supreme wisdom of beings who love you unconditionally and who possess a vastly superior horizon, a complete life plan that your physical eyes are utterly incapable of perceiving. They understand that for a soul destined for infinite perfection, a temporary hardship often acts as the very catalyst required for a monumental leap forward in spiritual strength and clarity. The trials, when viewed through this spiritual lens, are transformed from meaningless suffering into opportunities for soul-building mastery. We now arrive at the promised explicit method, the technical application of Kardec's research, designed to force conscious spiritual tuning. After years of exhaustive investigation and direct questioning of the highest spirits, Kardec formalized a practical, infallible method for conscious communication that is accessible to anyone willing to commit to its three fundamental pillars. The first pillar is the purification of the environment and thought. Before attempting any deliberate contact, you must intentionally construct a formidable inner and outer casulo, a cocoon of profound peace, silence, and harmony. This requires the elimination of all external noise, the complete disconnection of technology, and most critically, the rigorous purification of your internal thoughts from any negative vibrational litter, such as judgmentalism, fear, or resentment. The great spiritual mentors always initiated every session with explicit, focused prayers of deep gratitude and protection, teaching that sincere, heartfelt prayer acts as a blazing spiritual lighthouse, instantly attracting the purest beings of light, while simultaneously and aggressively repelling any lower, distracting spiritual interference. The second pillar is the establishment of the correct and noble intention. Kardec relentlessly stressed the central axiom: never, under any circumstances, seek communication for triviality, idle curiosity, or for self-serving material pursuits like trying to win a game of chance. The essential contact must always be driven by a noble, moral, and elevated purpose, personal moral growth, the profound seeking of consolation in acute grief, or the request for clear guidance on how to better serve your fellow humans and the greater good. The superior spirits only mobilize and respond when they detect sincerity, purity of motive, and the unyielding steel of moral intention in your purpose. The third pillar is the practical, daily practice of patience and perseverance. Spiritual communication is not an instantaneous, on-demand service. It is a gradual, living, organic process of spiritual development and tuning. Many aspirants tragically abandon the effort because they anticipate an immediate, spectacular show of lights. However, genuine, lasting communication flourishes slowly, beginning with a subtle, brief presentiment, evolving into a vague dream, and only then gradually maturing into a distinct, undeniable clarity. Here is the vital, non-negotiable warning that may ultimately save your spiritual sanity and growth. Kardec was absolutely categorical. You must never, ever seek spiritual communication without the required moral preparation and without explicitly establishing the protective shielding of superior, benevolent spirits. The spiritual world, much like a dense, crowded city street, contains spirits of every imaginable type and moral disposition. The inferior, often malicious or merely frivolous spirits, are perpetually ready to exploit and interject themselves into unprotected, casual, or morally weak communications. For this reason, Kardec established absolute rules of engagement. The first and most vital rule is to commence every single attempt at communication with a powerful, focused prayer, explicitly petitioning for the protection of God and your designated spiritual guides. The second critical rule is to examine the content of every received message with an intense, skeptical, magnifying glass. Elevated spirits will always deliver messages saturated with lessons that uplift, console, inspire constructive action, and morally edify. The great mediums filtered out literally hundreds of potential messages per week, only committing to paper that which was undeniably saturated with pure love, deep wisdom, and constructive, universally applicable guidance. Any communication that remotely suggests or exudes negativity, promotes vengeful action, encourages self-destructive vices, or contradicts universally accepted moral principles must be immediately rejected and severed. If a supposed communication leaves you confused, genuinely terrified, or with destructive negative impulses, you must instantly cut the connection. Once you successfully establish this conscious, protected, and consistently monitored spiritual relationship, you will begin to perceive the active hand of your guides in virtually every single detail of your day. This includes that sudden, intense flash of intuition that compels you to take a different route, thereby narrowly avoiding a potentially fatal accident, or the powerful feeling that prevents you from finalizing a business deal that you later discover would have utterly ruined you. For this deep connection to truly function and flourish, you must develop what Kardec termed spiritual docility. This is not a passive surrender. It is a profound, conscious willingness to remain openly receptive to receive the superior, higher-order instruction while simultaneously preventing your human pride, personal vanity, or ingrained prejudices from interfering with the clear transmission. It is the humble, absolute recognition that there exist beings in the cosmos who are infinitely wiser, more perceptive, and more benevolent than your current self. Casey taught that humility is the singular master key that unlocks the deepest doors of spiritual communication. When you acknowledge your innate human limitations and implore for aid with a brutal, sincere honesty, you create the perfect, unadulterated conditions for the direct download of pure, uncontaminated spiritual orientation. However, this humility must always be balanced by an unwavering discernment. Be humble enough to truly receive the message, but wise enough, armed with a moral and philosophical framework, to distinguish the pure gold of truth from the dangerous, misleading spiritual trash. Now we have arrived at the absolute final and most important point of the entire spiritual system. The sole singular reason for the existence of all this intricate spiritual communication, guidance, and intervention is to facilitate your essential moral growth and to expand your inherent capacity to practice true charity toward your neighbor. Superior spirits do not utilize their immense power to offer stock market tips, solve minor domestic disputes, or magically eliminate your material debts. They are here, constantly, to apply the necessary pressure to force the irreversible evolution of your soul. Every piece of genuine orientation you receive is not a gift, but a profound responsibility. You are required to immediately use that knowledge to fundamentally improve yourself and, critically, to inspire and assist others on their own arduous evolutionary journey. The examples of authentic spiritual gifts are clear. Great mediums and spiritual leaders utilize their extraordinary gifts strictly as a service of pure, disinterested love, offering their immense help entirely for free. Kardec codified the definitive law: freely ye have received, freely give. If you attempt to commercialize, monetize, or exploit this spiritual gift for self-serving, egoistic, or material gain, you immediately attract the precise, low-level spiritual elements that seek to exploit and feed upon the vulnerable faith of others. By consistently maintaining your intentions pure and completely disinterested, you will forever secure the dedicated, loving attention of the most elevated and benevolent guides in the entire spiritual hierarchy. As we bring this extensive exploration of spiritual communication to its powerful close, fully internalize the most beautiful, life-affirming promise of the spiritual doctrine. You possess a glorious, infinite destiny, the ultimate attainment of spiritual perfection. No matter how many mistakes, poor choices, or moral failures you have accumulated across countless lives, your dedicated mentor knows the absolute divine potential residing within you and is working with endless patience and unconditional love to help you finally manifest it. Every challenge you face, every setback, and every moment of acute suffering is purposefully designed as a platform for monumental spiritual growth. Every difficulty overcome is not merely survived, but transformed into a massive injection of profound soul strength and wisdom. The doctrine of reincarnation, as explained by Kardec, is the irrefutable, living proof of God's perfect justice and boundless mercy, granting you multiple, unlimited chances to learn, correct, and advance. In every single life you undertake, your mentors are present, sustaining you with a fierce, protective love that defies all human understanding. They possess the complete blueprint of your soul's plan, which allows you to place your absolute, unwavering trust in their silent, persistent guidance, knowing with perfect certainty that everything that occurs, even the very events that cause you to cry out in deepest pain, possesses a purposeful evolutionary benefit for your eternal being. As wise figures remind us, you are an eternal spirit momentarily engaged in a temporary human experience. This single, profound perspective is the only one capable of transforming your identity from a helpless victim of fate into a conscious, disciplined student in the rigorous, necessary school of life. Your spiritual masters will never abandon you. Their love is perfectly unconditional and eternal. The deep, essential communication with them is completely available to you now, provided you seek it with authentic purity, unwavering consistency, and true sincerity of heart. Begin today by cultivating a constant, conscious awareness of the signals that are powerfully calling out all around you. Offer a sincere, silent mental acknowledgement of their presence. Humbly ask for their clear orientation in your most critical decisions. Open your heart fully to the force of love and your mind to the clarity of wisdom. Your life's reality will be utterly transformed, not by temporary acquisitions, but by something far more valuable and lasting: unshakable inner peace, an absolute sense of purpose, and the profound capacity for unconditional love. This is their ultimate goal for you. Your spiritual mentor is speaking to you at this very moment. The signs are omnipresent, and now, finally, you know exactly how to listen and how to respond.